On June 25th, 1988, I got in my car and started heading to the first show on Bob Dylan tour. It was in Canandaigua, New York. It was a beautiful outdoor amphitheater, pretty small. I got there, well, let's back it up a bit. On the way there, I got involved in a 13-car pileup. The car in front of me belonged to the fire chief's daughter. They put me in an ambulance and they put something on my neck and they wanted to take me to the hospital. And I said, fuck no, I'm going to see Bob Dylan. His concert's in a few hours, I gotta go. So I signed some waiver, and away I went. Called my insurance company. My car was a bit messed up, but enough about that. I get to Canandaigua. It's a short drive from Toronto. And I walk right in. They're doing sound check. And I sit close to these guys. And we start talking. There was Tony Garnier up on stage. There was G.E. Smith. Might have been Christopher Parker on drums at the time, I'm not sure. And I turned to the guide and I said, hey, where's Dylan? Shouldn't Dylan be on stage doing sound check? And he kind of laughed and he goes, Bob generally doesn't do sound checks. Okay, we sat back, we talked for a bit. The gentleman in question was Barry Montoya from Montoya Studios in New York. It was nice to meet him and rap a little bit. I watched sound check, I left. I got a ticket, a really good ticket. I remember I was in like second or third row center. And I learned something, a little something about getting tickets for Bob Dylan shows. And the show was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I don't remember anything from the show itself, except for the fact that it was great and I was right in front of Bob. First time ever being that close for Dylan. But then again, I'd only been seeing shows, Bob Dylan shows, for about 2 years at that point. So I was a bit of a newbie. It was fantastic. After the show, I wanted to get a hotel or motel. There aren't that many hotels or motels in Canandaigua. And I went to the closest place and they told me that Bob Dylan's entourage, they took over the hotel. There are no more rooms. What I did was I popped out the back seat. I crashed out. Woke up in the morning and hit the road. I parked right next to Bob Dylan's tour bus and I left before them. I was in a hurry. I wanted to get to Saratoga. I'd been to SPAC. It's beautiful there. If you ever get a chance to go to Saratoga, I really recommend that you go to the Performing Arts Center just to walk around and or to see a show. So I get to Saratoga. I see, I'm walking around. It's very early in the morning. I know I gunned it. I know I didn't have a light on me. I wanted to have a smoke, and I was jonesing like a freak. Couldn't find no light, so just plugged away. And I'm walking around at Saratoga, just enjoying the morning, the trees, the nature of it. It's beautiful. It's very quiet there. There was no one there. I was by myself. Out of nowhere, here comes a guy with a bald head and a pencil-thin mustache on a mountain bike. And he's on a mountain bike, and I went right in front of him, and I said, stop. I said, hey man, you got a light? And he goes, ooh, a light? What for? What do you got? I showed him what I wanted to smoke. It was a commercially pre-rolled cigarette from one of those corporations. And he goes, oh, it's almost the 90s. We don't smoke tobacco in the 90s. I said, who are you? And what the hell? Why are you telling me what to do? And he paused for a second, put out his hand, and he said, oh, I'm Cesar Diaz. I'm Bob Dylan's guitar technician. How you doing? Well, I think you know that my guard immediately went down. I was like, oh, this guy works for Bob Dylan. I gotta be nice to him, don't I? I'm generally nice, but if I'm jonesing tobacco, if I've been in a 13-car pileup, and I was starting to feel sore that morning. But anyway, I chilled, and I said, oh yeah, nice to meet you, and I told him my name. And we started talking. And I said we were talking about Bob, and talking about the shows, and about tour, and his job a little bit. We talked maybe 10, 15 minutes. He said to me, really great to meet you. At the end of the show tonight, come to the stage, and if Bob breaks a guitar string, you can have it. I got some picks for you, and maybe even a cue sheet. We'll see. Okay, I said, fan-fucking-tastic. I'm walking away, because he says I got to go to work. I looked down on the stage because we're like up on the lawn of the amphitheater looking down, and I saw that they were getting busy down there. Probably a half an hour of setup, and then he has the ability to do his part, etc. So I'm starting to walk my way. Oh, wait a second. At one point I said to him, hey man, how's Spike doing? And he's like, Spike? Who's Spike? I said, oh, that's what the Grateful Dead call Bob Dylan. When they toured together, they called him Spike. They already had a Bob. You don't call Bob and have two guys turn around all the time. One Bobby and one Bob. It's close enough. You're going to start calling Bobby Robert. I don't think Bobby likes that very much. Well, maybe he does. Give it a shot sometime. I'm rambling. It's a beautiful day here in Toronto. It's an uncharacteristically warm, going on 18 degrees on the 18th of November. It's kind of unusual, but that's the way it is these days with the weather. You never know what you're gonna get. It's a surprise. Quelle surprise. Warm weather makes me feel good. The sun makes me feel good. I love it. I'm wearing a mask because the COVID in Toronto is worse now than it was a little while ago. The last couple shows I made, I took off my mask to do this, but I'm not going to do it. Even as I'm in front of my boyhood home here on Prue Avenue in the suburbs of Toronto by and large. That's the way I pronounce that word. That's the beauty of the English language. You can coin phrases, you can make things up. It's an evolving language. Anyhow, Cesar and I part ways. And I'm walking in my direction, probably looking for a light still. And Cesar's going to work. And as I'm walking away, I hear, bye, Spike, see you. And he waves, and he started calling me Spike. That was the day that I got that name, June 26th, 1988 in Saratoga, New York. A great place. I love New York. If you're like a Toronto person, you've seen a lot of shows in New York. New York City, Saratoga, Erie, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albanese, aka Albany, or is it Albany? Anyhow, so yeah, Bob Dylan opened the show. with Subterranean Homesick Blues. He played Tomorrow Is a Long Time. He played Maggie's Farm. Played Drifting Too Far from Shore, which I really like. That's unusual. I don't think Bob played that many times. So yeah, the show was fab. I really, really loved it. And had the best time. And that was the beginning of tour. I saw a few more shows on that tour. I think the next one, or shortly after, there was a show in Massachusetts. I don't remember if that was the 4th of July. I might have gone to Brooklyn to see Bob Dylan play in New York and then double back. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, it was the best time. It was a really great summer tour with Bob Dylan. You gotta love it. I'm really very much interested in going and seeing some live shows. The last live show I went to was Elton John here in Toronto. And it was a great show. Elton played for 3 hours. He really played his heart out that night. And I think he does every night because he loves what he does. He's a consummate musician, just like Bob Dylan. Dylan writes all his own lyrics. I'm not knocking you, Elton. Not everybody writes lyrics. I myself, I'm capable of writing lyrics every now and then. Yeah, so is that pretty much what I wanted to say about Dylan Tour? I mean, a lot of it's kind of murky and cloudy. I've seen Bob Dylan 300 times. I don't remember if that was the tour. It might have been when I hooked up with all these Dylan heads from New York. And one guy played piano really, really well. He had the most beautiful sister. And I was like, wow, I'd really like to hook up with this chick. But her brother kind of C-blocked me. I don't blame him. If they knew me better, maybe they wouldn't have done that. But it was just like back in the day when I was 20 years old, I would always meet people. I would always meet girls. I always ambled on into a party. Always meeting really good people, whether it's Cesar Diaz or Barry Montoya or all those guys from New York. Oh, here, I want to tell you this story. So, I get a motel room in Saratoga. And I wake up in the morning, the next day, I guess it was the 27th. And I look out my window, and I see a sort of slightly unusual thing. There's a guy in a van, and there's a kid swimming in the pool, like a young boy. And the man in the van is parked in front, and I thought he was scoping out the kid. So I just went outside, went right up to his van, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing, man?" And he said, "Oh, we just went to see Bob Dylan last night, and my son just wants to go for a swim and cool down." I said, "Oh, that's your son?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "What's his name?" He said, "Victor." I said, "Hey, Vic, everything cool?" He's like, "Yeah, just hanging out with my dad, taking a swim. He was a good kid." Well, anyway, that was none other than Eddie Stevenson, from my pal from Cranston, Rhode Island. Eddie, haven't seen you in ages, so I hope you're well. Comment allez-vous to your wife? And so, that was my initial meeting of and with Eddie. He was always on tour. He saw a lot of Dead shows. He used to vend drinks and cream cheese sandwiches and all kinds of stuff. And at one point or another, I saw Bob Dylan in Cranston, or somewhere in Rhode Island. I think it was Cranston. And I stayed at Eddie's house. It's always the best times on tour. I love the open road. I can't get enough. I'm jonesing the open road. Maybe before too long, I'm just going to get in my car and drive someplace. Maybe up to Thunder Bay. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere. Toronto's kind of like, it's a good place to leave at this point in the game. It's a great place if you're rich and if you're really well insulated, but it isn't what it used to be. My father, he came to Canada with $5, one suitcase, an accordion, and my mom. He did very well here. He came here in the, 1950 or 51 from Europe. Anyhow, if there's a message in here someplace, if you've learned something, that's fantastic. I suppose to a certain extent making these videos about my experiences on the road with the Grateful Dead and Bob Dylan, it's very cathartic for me and it's fun. I've been getting some requests from my friends. My friend Matt, who lives in California, he wants me to make a show about our trip down to Colorado. I think it was 87. Maybe it was 89. I don't know when it was. I'd have to look it up. You know, the Dead played 4 shows at Red Rocks, and then we all trucked on down to Telluride, which was fantastic. It was the Harmonic Convergence. Well, that's another episode. So, I don't know. I don't think I really want to add too much to this one. But I hope you guys are all doing well, staying healthy, and taking care of yourselves. I found out today that one of my mom's neighbors died of COVID virus. She was around 80. And, you know, I'm trying to take this seriously. I'm trying my best. It's not easy. I've been doing this now for 8 or 9 months, or as I like to say, or 1,000 years. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about music, about Bob Dylan, and my experiences on the road, and meeting Caesar, and meeting Barry, and meeting Eddie, and getting the name Spike. I'm very happy about all of that. All of these experiences put together, they make you and shape you. If you wake up in the morning and you stay in bed all day long, it's going to be a boring day. Get out, do something. Be creative. Time is precious, life is precious. Enjoy your life. Don't let the little insects, which you can squish people, I call them insects, don't let them bring you down. There's no point. Ignore them. Keep everything in context. And that's about it. Blessings to everybody on this beautiful, beautiful day. I'm going to go home. I'm going to cook up some curry and rice. I might make chickpea potato curry. I might make mango curry. I might make them both. But I also want to be outside because it's so beautiful. I don't want to spend the entire day cooking. So I might make myself hummus for lunch because I got chickpeas and some leftover tahina. And that's it. So peace be. God bless. See you next time. There'll be more episodes in this series. It's a lot of fun.